We get a lot of questions here about sensor sizes, APS-C, 4/3, full frame. I have over 100,000 images in my underwater library, and the majority of them have been shot with APS-C. But to be honest, I would have to go and look at the metadata to tell you which were which, because the two are so close in quality. So let's talk about why most of the images I shoot are using an APS-C sensor. I was on a boat one time where I had both available. I had my full frame system all assembled, ready to go, and I had my crop sensor all ready to go. We knew that the dive was going to be very fast, in and out of inflatable boats and chasing dolphins, or chasing dolphins that pass through. I chose the APS-C system for that dive because there's some beautiful wide-angle lenses like the 10-18 that you could put on a crop sensor, but the difference was the housing and the system itself became so much smaller and easier to maneuver through the water that I was able to get images that I don't think I would have been able to get with the camera that I had left up on the boat. So physical size will sometimes allow you to get shots that you couldn't get with a bigger system. From an imaging standpoint, the APS-C sensor will give you a more magnified image. So let's say you're shooting macro, for example. You're going to be able to fill the frame with that nudibranch or that small reef animal without having to get as close with an APS-C. In other words, it makes your lens longer, and this is definitely a benefit for macro. Now, you could argue the flip side happens with a full frame, since a full frame wide lens is going to give me a slightly wider angle of view than I could get with an APS-C camera. But there are so many great lenses, including fisheyes, that are made for the APS-C that it's almost moot. One of the other things to think about if you choose an APS-C system is that the lenses are less expensive, the cameras, and in some cases the housing. So you could find yourself with enough money left over to add strobes to your system. And at that point, your system's going to be more versatile, and in most cases, you're not going to notice a difference between the smaller sensor size. When you add light, that's where your clarity, that's where your detail and your resolution, all the textures and the colors, they're going to come from. It's going to come from the light. So putting light on an APS-C camera is going to give you much more detail and color than shooting natural light with any full-frame camera. We've seen so much good photography coming out of these crop sensor cameras over the years that in some cases we'll even offer complete packages for you with a camera, housing, ports, everything. Some of the real popular ones would be the Canon R7, the R10, and even the R100. If you're a Sony shooter, the A6700 is a very, very popular choice for underwater photography. At the end of the day, it's all about getting the shot. And when we talk about all the things that go into getting the perfect shot, the sensor size really has very little to do with it. Keep in mind also that pricing out an APS-C system could save you enough on your total investment to take another dive trip. And that's where our images come from, so something to think about. If you have any questions about this, please drop a comment below or reach out to us. You can get us at ikelight@ikelight.com.